Philosophy has shaped the course of history, overthrown powerful institutions, and ignited revolutions. But what makes it truly dangerous is not just its influence, it's the way it alters the mind of anyone who dares to engage with it. Once you begin questioning, there is no return to blind acceptance. The ideas of thinkers like Socrates, Nietzsche, and Marx were not just controversial, they were seen as threats to the very foundations of society. Socrates was executed, Nietzsche's ideas were twisted and misused, and Marx's theories led to revolutions that changed nations. Their crime? Challenging what people took for granted. Philosophy is not just about theories, it's about dismantling illusions, breaking away from conventional thinking, and seeing reality as it is, not as we are told it should be. Imagine waking up one day and realizing that much of what you believe about life, success, and morality is not an absolute truth, but a construct shaped by society. What if free will is an illusion? What if morality is subjective? What if the meaning of life is not something you discover, but something you create? These are the unsettling questions philosophy forces you to confront. And once you start, you will begin to notice the cracks in the systems around you. You will question the rules that govern behavior, the values that are considered sacred, and the beliefs that have been passed down without scrutiny. This is why many people resist philosophy, not because it is difficult to understand, but because it challenges the very foundation of their reality. One of the first transformations philosophy brings is in how you perceive reality itself. Philosophers like René Descartes argued that the only certainty is one's own existence. Everything else could be an illusion. Kant believed that reality is not something we experience directly, but something filtered through our limited senses. This means that what we consider real may be nothing more than a construct of our minds. The unsettling part? If reality is shaped by perception, then there may be no objective truth, only different interpretations of what we think is true. Existentialists like Sartre and Camus take this further by asserting that life has no inherent meaning. There is no divine plan, no universal purpose, only the meaning we create for ourselves. While this idea can be terrifying, it is also liberating. It means that you are not bound by the expectations of society, religion, or tradition. You have the power to define your own purpose, and with that power comes full responsibility for your existence. This kind of thinking has real-world consequences. History proves that the most significant social movements, from democracy to human rights, began with people who dared to question the nature of power, justice, and morality. Thinkers like John Locke and Rousseau laid the groundwork for modern political systems. Marx's theories fueled revolutions that reshaped entire nations. Even today, philosophy influences everything from artificial intelligence to ethics in technology. It is dangerous not because it provides answers, but because it equips people with the tools to challenge the status quo. But before philosophy can change the world, it changes the individual first. And once that transformation starts, it cannot be undone. When philosophy takes hold of your mind, the first thing it does is make you question everything. Before, you might have accepted ideas simply because they were widely believed or taught by authority figures. But philosophy forces you to ask, why? Why are certain actions considered moral while others are not? Why do we define success in terms of wealth or status? Why do people seek happiness in external things? These questions are not just intellectual exercises. They have the power to redefine your entire approach to life. Consider utilitarianism, the idea that the best action is the one that brings the most happiness to the greatest number of people. At first, it seems reasonable. But what if achieving this happiness requires sacrificing a single innocent person? Does the end justify the means? On the other hand, Kantian ethics argues that morality should be based on absolute principles, not on consequences. But what if following strict moral rules leads to suffering? The deeper you go, the more you realize that morality is not as simple as it seems. Philosophy does not provide easy answers. It forces you to grapple with complexity. Once you see the world through this lens, you can never return to a simplistic, black-and-white way of thinking. Even emotions, which seem deeply personal, are shaped by philosophical thought. Stoicism, a school of philosophy founded by thinkers like Epictetus and Marcus Aurelius, teaches that suffering comes not from external events, but from our reactions to them. If someone insults you, Stoicism argues that the insult itself has no power. It is only your response to it that creates pain. If you lose something valuable, the suffering comes not from the loss itself, but from your attachment to it. Imagine applying this to your life. If you could detach from things you cannot control, would you suffer less? Stoicism offers emotional resilience, but at the cost of forcing you to rethink everything you once believed about happiness and pain. Perhaps the most unsettling effect of philosophy is the way it alters your view of society. Most people assume that the systems they live under, laws, traditions, institutions, are natural and necessary. But philosophers like Michel Foucault and Karl Marx argue that many of these structures exist not because they are logical, but because they serve those in power. Marx's theory of class struggle suggests that much of what we consider normal is designed to maintain economic control. Foucault takes this further, arguing that power is embedded in knowledge itself, through the way history is written, the way science is taught, and the way norms are reinforced. These ideas are disturbing because they reveal how much of our reality is shaped by forces we are often unaware of. At this stage, philosophy has already changed you. It has made you question reality, morality, identity, emotions, and society itself. It has taken away simple answers and replaced them with deeper, sometimes uncomfortable truths. But in doing so, it has given you something invaluable: the ability to think for yourself, to see beyond illusions, and to define your own path. This is why philosophy is so powerful. It does not just change what you know, it changes who you are. And once this transformation begins, there is no way to return to the person you were before. By now, you might be wondering, if philosophy is so powerful, why don't more people embrace it? The truth is, not everyone is ready for it. Most people prefer the comfort of certainty over the discomfort of questioning. Society encourages obedience, not independent thought. Philosophy threatens this by forcing people to see the flaws in the systems they trust. This is why history's greatest thinkers were often seen as threats. They did not accept the world as it was. They imagined what it could be. But the true power of philosophy is not just in changing society, it is in changing yourself. Once you engage with philosophical ideas, you start living with a deeper awareness. You question your desires, your beliefs, and your choices. You no longer chase things simply because society tells you to. Instead of reacting impulsively, you analyze. Instead of following a path laid out for you, you create your own. And here's the most important realization: philosophy never ends. Every answer leads to more questions. The greatest minds were not those who claimed to have all the answers, but those who never stopped questioning. Philosophy is not a destination. It is a lifelong journey. It makes life richer, deeper, and more meaningful. It gives you the tools to navigate uncertainty, to see beyond illusion, and to live on your own terms. So the question is, are you ready for it? Because once you open the door to philosophy, there is no turning back.